Welcome to Media Sandwich with me. Because it's all about William, we have
William McCormick from allaboutwilliam.com.
And I'm Scotty Mayali, better known as Toaden from Toaden.com and youtube.com/ToadenK. If you're watching us on YouTube, please just go ahead, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. You'll know when we get new videos out. If you're listening to us on whatever you're listening us on, just let us know. I mean, we're on Stitcher, we're on Podbean, we're on Google, iTunes. I don't know what else we're on. We're on, we try to get on as much stuff as we can. Thank you for listening, obviously. Well, today we're going to talk about another platform coming out. We have Carrie with us.
Hi.
That's your time to say hi, guys.
Hi, guys.
So, Carrie, go ahead, tell us what platform, what's going on, what you're doing, what are you working on?
So I'm the president of Martel Broadcasting Systems. We're a C corporation incorporated in Delaware. We've been developing a multi-channel video streaming platform. So it's kind of like YouTube combined with conventional cable TV style TV guide and TV kind of simulated broadcast channels that anybody could use to create their own video content, put it out there.
Okay, so is it video on demand?
Yes, there's video on demand and there's also live streaming where there's both.
Okay.
One difference would be that you could live stream something into a day parting schedule. So like if you wanted to run your own news channel and mix and match that with pre-recorded shows. So you could have like, you have pre-recorded shows like Game of Thrones could be mixed in with a evening news broadcast as an example. So.
See, when I looked at your website, I didn't see too much video on demand. I mostly saw like a TV guide, the old school web TV kind of format.
Right. So all pretty much everything that's been scheduled is on demand. It's a pre-recorded show that is being scheduled like you would see with TV or satellite. But
if it's scheduled, it's not on demand. On demand means I want to watch this show now. Click.
Right. So if you click on the actual name of the station in the guide, it'll bring up the channel page, much like a channel page on YouTube. And you can watch shows that have been released already that are available for on-demand viewing. For example, the movie channel Drive-Through Movies. It has like 100 public domain movies that are available for watching right now.
Oh, fantastic. Cool. Yeah, when I watched through it, I didn't notice that bit. I didn't know that you can actually go through it and watch already released stuff.
You can also search like you would on YouTube and find things that have been released already. We're making it a lot easier. We're just integrated a subscription feed. So once you're subscribed to a station, you can actually see what content has been released that day.
Okay, so when you're a station, you can have a subscriber base, or like, do you get to choose? Like, how does that work? How does your subscriptions work?
It's very similar to YouTube. The main difference is that you don't have to subscribe to every channel in order to be able to see it in your channel guide. There are some channels that are curated, featured, or recommended that are in the guide. But if you do subscribe to a station, it will appear in your feed as well.
I thought YouTube was doing away with that in favor of YouTube Red and their future version of Patreon.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes for them.
Yeah.
But by doing that, with YouTube Red, most channel creators are not going to be part of Red. They're not original programs, and so it's basically whatever they've been making, and then they get a very small sliver of the big pool of the money that's been designated to give to channel creators. The way they pay out is by watch time, like how many people that are subscribed to Red watch your channel, and then they decide how much of that money you're going to receive. For most creators, they probably would make more money if they just had ads running in the first place. It's only really large creators that benefit by that system.
Yeah, I've seen a huge down in our revenue. But I haven't seen a bigger down when they said that they're not charging advertisers as much, and not to mention marking so many videos as not ad friendly. It's funny because I could put a video up, and before it's even released, without a title, without any metadata, it just says not suitable for all advertisers. And like, what are you basing this on? I don't understand.
So from what I understand, from what I've heard through the grapevine, they had artificial intelligence trained by people that are the same people that are part of the little I forget what they're called, but the little watchdog groups on Twitter. And we can see how well that's worked out for Twitter, right? Mm-hmm. So they've basically had these people, that the YouTube Heroes program, I think is what they called it.
Yes, I remember that came out, and it looked like too much work for me to be part of the Watch Brotherhood. I didn't see much of a reward system on it.
So whatever these people were flagging is what the AI was trained to flag for. Mm-hmm. And we could see the results of that, right? When it was released into the wild on every video on YouTube.
Right. I know anything with the word zombie in it is automatically flagged. So there goes a lot of my charity events and family-friendly charity events.
Most of my Learn programming videos got flagged.
A lot of our interviews are getting flagged. I know one of the reasons why the Zimmerman interview was flagged was because we mentioned the Flint water crisis, which it's really hard not to mention that when you're in Flint talking to a person that runs a business based on advertising, and he can't run restaurant advertisements because obviously they're getting hit by the Flint water crisis. It's hard not to mention it. I don't see why you would not mention it when you're talking about educating an audience.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
and these are some of the reasons why you've created this platform, obviously.
It is. I mean, trying to police the entire internet is a losing strategy, no matter how you go about it. One of the key problems with YouTube is that the only reason they need to police everything is because they're in charge of selling all the advertising, except for a very premium handful, a dozen or so big MCNs or major content companies. They can sell their own advertising onto YouTube, but the problem is still that YouTube takes 45% of that money. But for everybody else, YouTube is in charge of selling your ads for you. You have no idea what the ads are. You have no idea what it even will sell for. So you're not even controlling your finances. But on top of that, because YouTube is they can't even tell advertisers exactly what videos that their ads are going to come on ahead of time because it's just way too much. And that's part of the problem with their business strategy. With us, we're actually empowering channel owners to sell their own ad inventory. So they can work with the existing brands and sponsors that they have, and now they can sell integrated, not just an integrated brand deal, but also recyclable ad inventory. You can do your own pre-rolls, your own mid-rolls, whatever price you want with whatever partners you want to work with.
And do you help connect with partners?
Oh, sure. We're going to have something very similar to AdWords for video. That's part of the system. Advertisers will be able to search it for stock that the channel owner themselves has said, I will sell this through the auction system. So that's one way that people can get connected to brands that are interested. Maybe somebody bought some ads on a channel and they're like, yeah, this is doing pretty well. I'll directly reach out and try to get a better deal directly with that channel owner. That's fine because our primary means of revenue is not intended to be getting a cut of everybody's cookie jar. We're not trying to take everybody's ad revenue. Our model is a lot more similar to traditional television. We're going to operate our own channels where we're selling our own ad inventory. We are going to have some premium channel bundles that people can subscribe to. We'll take a cut of those subscriptions and pay-per-view and things like that.
Okay, I see this going a few different ways. First, I want to address what I consider the elephant in the room when we talk about web TV. Because when I first look at it, I know you said you're changing some designs with the site to make it more obvious that there is video on demand. But as right now, when I look at it, it reminds me of cable TV, where I'm just going to see what's on right now. And of course, that reminds me of the traditional web TV, which is still around. I mean, its heyday was the early 2000s, and people still trying to, create platforms like, oh no, we don't have video on demand. We just have whatever's on at this time. I know our other host who's not here today, Crazy Mark, has been on several of those. His public access show gets picked up on those every once in a while, and it just reminds me of sitting in a room with a bunch of other broadcasters where we're supposed to have a workshop, and it comes to freeform time, and guys get up and go, hey, we want to talk about our platform. We have web TV, we have new TV, and they spend the next 15 minutes telling us why we should not have video on demand and just schedule our stuff on their thing, which has no advertising, not promoted, and they just seemed out of touch. They don't know anything about YouTube, anything about social media. Since you're going against that, and it sounds like, and I know you have background in these things, how would you defend yourself when being compared to the old 2000s version of web TV? What's, it feels outdated.
We're not just taking one signal from a studio and broadcasting it out like with those systems.
Well, neither were they. You go in there and you put in your videos and you create your own channel, or you at least talk with them and they put your videos on the appropriate channel. So it was very much, web TV. It was their own cable system, just on a website. It was just all scheduled.
But it sounds like I don't know exactly which services you're referring to.
I'm kind of bunching together about at least 7 or 8 that I've played around with. There's still a lot of them around, but most of them are religious services ones that for old people that still haven't caught up onto technology, because YouTube's evil.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're trying to combine the future of television, which is, or rather the present, I suppose, the things that are video on demand, internet-driven streaming, with the more traditional capabilities of a television broadcasting network. Mm-hmm. But it's all through the internet, right? We're not broadcasting things into space and then beaming it back down into people's houses. The day schedule is good for curation, so that you can create and help encourage audiences to find new content, so they actually know when something comes out. There's a release schedule of things. Mm-hmm. It's easier to recycle older content and get it to new, fresh eyes. But there's still video on demand, right? You can still go to the channel page. You can still search for things that have already been released and watch it on demand. It's both. And I think with our interface, we're constantly improving the graphics, but the general logistics of it is there. We just need to teach people how to use it, I think.
I think that's pretty cool.
We're thinking to click on the logo of the channel to find the channel page.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool because it gives people a new way to discover new content instead of, here's a bunch of stuff that's already been seen millions of times. Maybe you want to follow the super popular people. I've always said my favorite aspect of YouTube, which they no longer have, but the old school YouTube, you could be able to just scroll and say, I want to watch the newly uploaded. And of course, at that point, it was only 48 hours every minute. Now it's like 3 weeks every minute. 3 weeks worth of videos every minute. And I tell them I would like something like this again. They go, dude, you're mad. It's like, no, don't have it auto-populate. If it's not auto-populating, then I could scroll down just like, okay, these are still brand new videos, especially if you get to choose the language and things like that. Yeah. Brand new videos. Nobody's commented on them. I'm the first to find them. Some people appreciate that. Some people don't. But that's one way to create a new audience, is just by finding other people and just be like, hey, I found you completely randomly. And
that's how I used to find a lot of people, actually, just completely randomly.
Yeah, there's a podcast app I love where it does pretty much what Carrie's describing. I mean, they do have live shows, but since I listen at 6:30 in the morning, 7 a.m. in the morning, none of them are live, so they're just rebroadcasting older shows. So I flip through their channels and I find, and I learn new things. I learn new podcasts, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And we've talked about creating our own app like that, so it's not just the same 15 to 30 podcasts. We'll be talking in the hundreds and thousands of podcasts, but that's down the road if it ever happens. Please don't steal my ideas.
I'll try not to.
What new books have you written? How many books do you have on the Amazon store right now?
Oh, geez, I don't know. Probably a dozen. I haven't honestly been working on a lot of books for publishing through Amazon right now. What I have been working on is a book that is designed to explain how to use our app properly to run a business with it and so forth, like the vision behind, how would you run a virtual TV station? What kind of features can you do? And walk people through that. That's probably going to be given out for free. It's going to be, I don't know, maybe 100 pages, but I'll just give it out for free as a PDF.
So you're working on a playbook of sorts, which...
kind of. This one's focused more on Zenith, though.
Well, obviously, this just happens to be the first playbook that I found. Yeah. I got one for G-Box up there. I got one. I don't even know if they're even still around. I never gave them the time of day. I got one for another failed video service that's probably not around anymore. It is a great tool. Having physical printed books and then handing them out, it's a great tool, especially if you have a bunch of topics, other things in there. I know the G-Book thing is G-Box. You probably have no idea what I'm talking about. They actually had some really cool stuff in their book. They actually spent a lot of time. Too bad all the salespeople I talked to didn't know anything about their own platform. I was at a party. Harry was there too.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. It was about 3 years ago at VidCon. We randomly got invited to this party while hanging out in the Vimeo room, and it was interesting. You ask them what G-Box is, and you ask 5 different five different members of their staff. Every one of them gave you a different answer.
A lot of those parties are just trying to create a memorable experience,
I couldn't quite figure out who their audience is. Now, who's your audience?
Our audience is tiered. Of course, we have viewers, right? People who want to watch content. But our primary audience, I think, right now is creators, getting people who are... I've built a sizable audience on somewhere like YouTube, and they are having trouble monetizing it either because they're getting flagged by the new AI or their content just is not easy to monetize on YouTube. It's very niche, perhaps, and they would rather work directly with advertisers. But the problem is that if they make their own website, they have their own video hosting app or whatever, they're cut off from the ecosystem of other channels and that collective group of users. So you need to have another market, which is what YouTube really is. It's kind of a market for people to watch content, and it has an ecosystem. But if I just make my own, my own little site with my own videos, I'm cut off from that ecosystem. So we need to recreate that ecosystem within Zenith, which is what we're trying to do with the features. We have chat and commenting coming, and an algorithm to help recommend stuff that's local based. So if somebody is broadcasting near you, you would actually be able to see that.
That's really cool.
That's nice.
Yeah, I like the location features. That's another feature I always wanted out of YouTube. Who's near me? Not that I want to stalk anybody. I just want to know who can I collab with? What's going on? Maybe maybe there's ways to get together. I mean, that's something we worked on a lot when we're when we're doing more YouTube stuff.
Yeah,
there's value for collaborations, certainly, but for viewers, I mean, it's really hard to find local interest-based content, like a local news show. Like, how do you find local news on YouTube? I mean, it's impossible.
Right, and the fact that, on this show, we talk a lot about events. We're all convention goers, and we do, each one of us has our own thing. I'm sure you're somewhat at least familiar with my videos. I do video, William does photography, Mark does public access. And we all cover events, and we all get press passes to events, and that's how we all met. And so that's actually really cool because people local, we hear all the time, doesn't matter where you're at, you hear it no matter where you go, there's nothing to do here. You know, we're in the Detroit area. There's so much stuff going on, and people act like I don't have any money. We go to $3 conventions all the time. We go to free conventions. We go to parades. We go to all this stuff. And people are like, you know, they say, it doesn't sound like me. Okay, well, here's our videos. Here's our pictures. You tell me if this seems like, and we've gotten, you know, I've had people go to zombie walks that I've never advertised, and they say, we went there because of your video. Wow. Or they've came and found me because of my videos. And you were telling me that you talked to a vendor that said they, you know, or a person that, or a vendor, I forgot who it was, that they found their shops through my videos from cons.
Oh, yeah, they did. Yeah. It was one of the vendors, yeah.
Yeah, I need to start getting sponsors by some of these. No, it's great. I mean, that's how I pay them back for the press passes, really.
Yeah.
And that's why they like having me and like having you there as well.
And I also had talked to a person that was like, I saw this one vendor, didn't know where it was, and I watched, I think it was your video, and he was like, I just found the little card that you got a video of.
You know, I'm sorry, I know we got off topic a little bit. Director's cut.
It happens.
You know, I'm curious about corporate applications, such as, you know, digital signage is a big thing. Digital signage is like companies having their own TV channel within their store, within their, you know, their internal video, meaning video that's, you know, sometimes some companies have videos up in cubicles or in cubicle land just playing internal stuff, whether it be numbers for the day or it's just internal news for the company. Are you offering solutions? Because digital signage can be very expensive to companies, you know, versus just hooking up a Raspberry Pi connected to Wi-Fi on the back of a TV. Do you have, you know, is that something you're working on?
Yeah, so we have mobile apps that are going to be coming out about January, February-ish, once most of the core features for the website version are done, because we're just bringing that over to the mobile apps. But GPS, proximity, location, geolocations, catching, that's part of the scheduling and recommendation for stations. So.
Okay. So it'd be easier for them to find it.
In layman's terms, as a station owner, you could set it so that people will be able to watch this and get recommended if they're in a certain GPS location. So let's say like a Walmart store or a McDonald's location.
See, that sounds great for advertising.
Yeah.
I hate to cut you off, but that's not quite what I was asking, but that's amazing for advertising. So if you're walking by a store, hey, you should check out, you know, Harry the Hatter's, you know, channel about his hats.
Right.
Which, by the way, is an awesome store. I know they closed down the Detroit location, but they're still in Southfield, and apparently there might be an Eastern Market in the next coming months, hopefully. Oh. Harry the Hatter is a fantastic hat store. Absolutely amazing. But anyways.
Yeah,
but no,
so
I'm talking about, like, let's say
enter a location, you get recommended, you know, that station within the app to watch it. So versus having to look for, like, one of these, you know, LCD monitors in a mall, you just go to the mall, and there's the mall station with all the advertisements and content that the mall stores are currently having to pay to appear in malls.
Okay, so let me ask you this question. Let's say I'm representing a company. Let's say I have, you know, 600 employees. I have like 2 or 3 floors of a building. It's cubicle land. I have video content that I want to release to them. I want to be on all the TVs, and I want them to all to watch it, but it's internal. I do not want the public to see this, but yet I want all my people to see this. And instead of just streaming to their computers, I want to put it on, you know, perimeter TVs. Can you help me with that?
I suppose the system could be used to do that. It's not really what it's intended for, but it could do it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm trying to help you make more money. Sure. I totally see a huge need for this.
Yeah.
I see more and more companies doing very expensive solutions. And I see a very great
I definitely
growth
see a
area
fork
in
of
that.
the software being used for something like that. It has value and utility that way. It's
Yeah.
not really what it was developed for. It was developed to solve problems with people being able to watch television on their mobile devices originally. That was the original idea behind it. I wanted to bring that experience to mobile. I've been working on this for a long time. I came up with the idea for this back in 2009.
Okay. Okay, so it's called Zenith there.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to go into my naming rant. I've done this more than once on the show, so I'll make it short. It seems like every time I'm on Kickstarter or Indiegogo or just looking through brand new companies and brand new items, there's 3 names that keep coming up again and again and again, or 2 names that I keep seeing in my last rant. I don't know. I can think of 2 right now. One is Zoom, which I love their recording products. Zoom recorder right here. We're using Zoom conferencing system, which are 2 completely different companies, and I believe they're also a different company than their digital sign. There's a digital signage company, I forgot all about that, named Zoom, which Planet Fitness use.
Oh yeah, that's right, they do, don't they?
Right, I forgot all about their digital signage. But yeah, and you see it all the time. The other name is Zenith.
Really?
Sometimes spelled with a Z like the TV, sometimes spelled with an X like the football helmets. And I see that again and again. And when I Googled Zenith, which I think it was, do you know what Zenith means? I believe it's something to do with switching and technological advances.
No, it's like a pinnacle. It's the highest point of a thing, I think. Has to do with time. That was kind of the idea behind the name. Okay. I wanted something that was like the pinnacle of internet broadcasting.
Right. It's the point in the sky or celestial sphere directly above an observer. The time in which something is most beautiful or successful. I saw another, I swear I saw another definition somewhere. But no, that's apparently apparently I looked up the wrong spelling earlier, but
it's possible.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I came up with the idea for Zenither. I was trying to find some name for it. I had been calling it Martel TV as a placeholder because I couldn't, like, the names that I wanted, I couldn't get. They were trademarked, the domains were taken, things like that.
Yeah,
And,
I just figured you put the ER at the end or whatever, just to get around copyright.
Yeah, I saw a trucking company. I was driving home after being in LA for a bit for consulting. I was going back to Texas, and it's a long drive, right? It's like a 3-day drive. And I was like, what can I find out here to inspire me for a name? And I saw it was like Zenith something trucking company. And I was like, that's a good name. So
see, it keeps being used again and again. It's a trucking company too. It's also a bicycle line somewhere. I think Zoom is as well.
I looked at the domain. Zenither was available, and nobody had trademarked it. So I was like, "That's great. That's promising." So I modified our logo a bit, and thus Zenither was born. We are in the process of trademarking, though.
Okay. I'm not bashing you at all. It's just,
no, it's fine.
It's just I see these trends and I'm like, can it be confusing? At least your name is different than their names. One popular law case right now is still ComicCon. Comic-Com is trademark, copyright, 60 different trademarks, I believe, is the last I heard. But yet every other comic convention we go to is called Comic Space Con, which there are less copyrights for because it's very generic, and some reason San Diego only wants to sue Utah Comic Con, I believe.
Yeah.
Right.
Just one of those things.
Big difference, the dash in the space,
Well, I mean, the truth is Comic-Con started in Detroit anyway, so whatever.
Yeah,
it was originally called something fanfare.
One of the problems with the trademark and copyright system in this country is sometimes people can trademark things that they really shouldn't have been able to in the first place. And then it becomes nigh impossible to get it reversed and removed. So
okay, so if you can get any creator out there, describe, I don't want any names, just describe the type of creator you want.
I'm looking, the ideal creator would be someone who is ready to start selling their own recyclable ad inventory. Someone who regularly produces at least one show or has several shows with their production company that they're producing, and they're wanting to really take advantage of a curated feed for their content that they can literally, I may not have mentioned this to you before, you could literally take that feed for your station, the day parting schedule, this comes out 1, 2, 3, you can embed that into your own website. So you don't have to promote our website, you can just promote your own website by embedding that feed into it. People can watch it, ads will still load. If you had a paid subscription, they would still have to subscribe in order to be able to watch that feed. But we're looking for people that want to take it to the next level. They want control over their finances. They don't want to continue, hoping and praying that they make enough money from, YouTube ads that they cover their expenses. They definitely want to be able to control who is watching their content and who is advertising on that content.
Does it cost the creator anything to create a channel?
No, doesn't. We do have a perk for investment of $1,000. In that case, we'll give them more features than they normally might have had. That's mostly because there's people that want to have a station with us, but they don't have any content. They don't have any audiences. They just think it's a cool idea. Then they're asking me, like, can I get a station now and then be able to sell it in the future? I'm like, sure. $1,000, you can do that. We'll also pay for their hosting, because right now we're not offering hosting to everybody like YouTube is. The finances just aren't in place for that. We support scheduling from JW Player and from YouTube. So if you want to keep your inventory on YouTube and then roll ads against that, you could do that. But you also pay for your own bandwidth with JW Player and then do a premium subscription service with your station. We will be offering video hosting. That'll probably come around, I would say, March or April, and that's probably going to be done at cost. We're going to have to charge some fee for it, unless we raise like $1 billion or something, but it would be done at cost, and it would be done in such a way that people would definitely be above water with the costs of providing the video hosting versus how much money they're able to make with ads.
Okay, so I could curate a channel and I can put up my videos, and if I partner with other people, I can put up their videos as well, and we can create our own channel, correct?
Right.
Okay,
exactly.
So do you have a system to find people that's stealing copyrighted material?
Well, no, we don't have content ID or anything like that. Our process is a little bit more... we're not just letting everybody make have a publisher account is what it is. The publisher account lets you manage multiple stations and you get access to all these features, versus viewer, which anybody can have a viewer account and subscribe to stuff. We're being more restrictive. We're approving everybody right now for publisher accounts, so I don't really see that being a problem. If somebody's uploading stuff and they don't have a license for it, we get a complaint, we can look into that. But we're not trying to implement content ID, because content ID is a mess. It's not a very good system.
Okay, so if I come up and I'm like, okay, I want a channel, does that mean you're gonna ask, okay, can I see what video you're gonna put on? Like, can I see your a backlog of content, and then someone physically goes through it?
Yeah, not through the whole thing. We're going to look at most of the catalog that's a sample of it to see what kind of content there's on there. If they start doing piracy, we're going to hear about it because somebody's going to complain to us about it. And then we'll look at that content and be like, do you have a license for this? Do you have permission to use this? If they don't, then we're going to be like, well, you need to take that off, because you're going to get sued. We're not going to get sued because we're probably not hosting the video content itself. But we're a distributor, so people are going to complain to us about it.
Okay.
No, content ID. The problem with content ID is this: it's heavily abused within YouTube. So there's all this content that's in the public domain, and people are putting that into content ID. And YouTube is not policing it because, there's thousands and thousands of companies that are doing this with millions of listings. They're putting everything imaginable, music, films, radio programs, all kinds of stuff in the public domain.
Yep. At least once a month.
They have NASA footage in Content ID. It's ridiculous.
At least
that's something we don't want to deal with.
At least once a month, I have to defend music. At least there's times where I've had to defend the same song from at least 6 different companies from a public domain that's completely public domain. I've had to defend another song that other people have taken and used within their music when, because it was like one simple beat, and then I've heard it in 3 other songs where it's been layered.
Right.
But I have permission from the actual artist that created it. Then he went on to allow other people with Creative Commons, allow other people to use it within their mixes. But I actually have, permission to use that one line from him and, with the original music. And there's also music I pay for that still get Content ID from other companies. Whoever when I search them, I just see scam.
Yep.
Right. So
It's just,
ID,
and if you don't notice it, you're going to lose monetization to these companies.
Yeah. So Content ID was implemented as a result of the lawsuit that Google had from all the music publishers and the TV networks. It was created so that they would stop getting sued. It wasn't created to make YouTube a better place for content creators. And it's definitely not been improved upon since it was first implemented. I can definitely tell you that. It's still, the way that it was implemented back in, I think it was like 2009. It's not a good system, and I think it creates a lot of problems within the ecosystem. I don't intend to have anything like that in Zenith or ever.
So one thing we have going on here is we have questions from a hat. So there's like 30, 40 questions in here, and other people can put questions in here just by emailing podcasts@MediaLayerSandwich.com or go to our Facebook group, MediaLayerSandwich.com, and just submit questions. And if we read one of your questions, we'll have your name on the printable question. So we'll give you a shout out. And once again, thank you to Carl Marshner for helping us get all these questions, and he submitted a bunch of them as well. You can find them at Carl Marshner Photo, I believe. Okay, so the question I just pulled out. Oh, this is a good one for you because you're constantly. You said your studio's in Denver, or that's where the servers are.
Our servers are with Amazon Web Servers right now.
Okay,
but we're based out of Delaware.
Delaware.
The company's incorporated in Delaware.
Okay, and I know, where are you right now? Aren't you in California?
I'm currently in Arizona, actually.
Arizona. Every time I talk to you, you're in a different state.
I know. I travel a lot.
So our question is, when you're on the go, or what is your go-to grub when you're out on the road? How do you eat when you're driving back and forth?
So this is not the best question for me because I've been dieting lately. I don't know.
I think it's a great question because it's so hard to diet when you're going to. I mean, it's so hard to stay in shape when you're constantly in a car. I mean, because you're hungry and there's a McDonald's in there. I think that's the best question. How do you do it then if you're staying on your diet?
So I eat one Subway sandwich a day, and it's very specific what I have. I have the turkey, footlong, whole grain wheat, and I don't have any oils or sauces or anything like that on it. It's just the turkey, it's lettuce, tomatoes, black olives, and cucumbers, and that's it.
Okay, so anything about Zenith you really want to talk about?
I mean, there's lots of things about it I could talk about forever, but some of it sometimes gets boring. The thing I think is most important for people to understand is that everything that was new, people didn't expect. Nobody expected MySpace. Nobody expected Facebook after that. Nobody expected YouTube in the first place. There's some people that come out and they see, they're like, yeah, that's different than what I'm used to, but all this stuff was different until people really started using it. When Vine first came out, I thought nobody was going to. That was stupid.
Who's going to make 7-second videos? What are you going to do with that?
And one of the most exciting things about this is that we're giving the tools that huge companies, major broadcasters have. It's all virtualized now. It's something you can run with a laptop. We're talking, tens of millions of dollars worth of equipment is now confined to a laptop, and it's free to access. All you have to do is use it and be creative with it and see what you can do that might be very innovative with it. It's a tool, and it's a box, and it looks a little plain now because it's mostly just our demo stations that we're running. But I really think it can be something, very special and needed for a lot of creators who just aren't getting their needs met in existing platforms like YouTube. People are jumping to Facebook, but Facebook is not going to give everybody money. They're just not going to do that. That's not their model. They're just like Google. They're selling the ads for you. If you want to control your business, you need to be able to control all aspects of the finances. You're not going to be able to do that with Facebook or Amazon or YouTube.
Mm-hmm. Well said. One more time, tell us where they can find you.
Yeah, so Zenither can be found at www.zenither.tv to see the app. You can also go to our Start Engine page. It's a much longer URL. But if you go to Start Engine, which is our investment funding portal, you'll be able to find our company, Martel Broadcasting Systems. And if you want to make an investment, you can definitely do that. We'll welcome you on board as an investor in this exciting company. We really think this is going to be huge. And we do have commitments from traditional investor types. At least 150,000 is already dedicated to us. So development is ongoing until
you mentioned Zenither.tv. You don't own the .com?
I do own the .com, but the .com right now is being used as an info page for the investment stuff.
Okay.
So we're using .tv right now. It redirects over. My intent really is for people to primarily watch it through mobile apps and smart TV apps. Not necessarily through the web page itself, but the website is being created first so that we get all the features done and refined, and then do the mobile apps. I think if we did a really bad job of the mobile apps, people would really turn it off. But with the website, we can make more mistakes and figure things out before we do the mobile apps.
All right, makes sense.
Yep.
With me is William from
allaboutwilliam.com.
And I'm Toaden from Toaden.com. You can find us. We're probably already did the Adrian ComicCon by the time this came out.
Probably already did Motor City Black Age for myself.
Yep. The Taylor ComicCon will be next, which you said you won't be there either.
I might. It depends on how scheduling and where my day job is.
Okay, so the Taylor ComicCon, December 16th in Taylor, Michigan. We'll be there. Well, I believe we're presenting as well as having a table. We might actually be selling something too. Come find out. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Carrie, thank you for coming on our show. And may the algorithm be in your favor.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you.